Welcome. Welcome to the pros and cons of the game. And you might be saying to yourself, what? Yes, the pros and cons of the game. Let's get through it, shall we? What are the pros and cons of the game? And what game are we talking about? The game of life? No, baby. The major game of life. A game that everybody's playing, a game that everyone's watching on television, they're watching in the movie theaters. They believe it every time they see it, and they don't know how it really works. You guys have watched Power, you watch CSI, you watch all these movies, and you still don't understand or figure out how any of this works. Now, everyone seems to assume that if they get into the dope game, that everyone has this mentality in their brain that if they get into the dope game, they gonna have a big house, a big yacht, a big car, a security guard named Rajulio. Rajulio! and they gonna just start wiping people out. This is crazy fiction, ladies and gentlemen. This is fiction. I don't sell drugs, never have. Never been a drug dealer. But I understood that if I was a drug dealer, one, I would probably never ever get busted. Two, I would have amassed so much money in the game. And the reason I didn't do it because it was not my avenue. To bring that around you is to bring around bad karma, and bad things have to happen in order for you to be successful in this trade. And that is what I don't want to happen. So I chose not to go there. I had a very good head start if I wanted to. I've had people open up a book bag full of everything and said, I know you. You can move this. And I was like, I know I could too. I could. I could move that in seconds. But to do that would bring a lot of attention to myself, a lot of exposure to myself, and a whole lot of other people would have been harmed. So let's go over the pros and cons of this, just in case people are thinking this is the avenue to jump into. Now, let's see, there's different tiers. You have the weed seller. The weed seller, this is a guy that really doesn't make any money. People are going to be like, man, I make good money. The weed seller, it depends on what you think is good for you. The weed seller is like starting off. Unless you're very smart about it, the weed game is oversaturated with too many people doing the same thing. You're not the only store in town. They can get better prices going to Walmart. So the FBI and the PDs don't need to pay attention, but they can if they want to. Because the fact is, they know all of this stuff that I'm saying. They don't need anything I'm telling you, they know already. So it's not like I'm telling them something that they need to do. Like, Sergeant Jackson, get in here, write this down. Sergeant Jackson's in there writing stuff down. That's crazy. No, the weed game is oversaturated market. It was always an oversaturated market, but now the state governments are going to legalize it with these they're going to tax it rather when they doing these factories or facilities they're building. And now that's going to be a growing business that by the time 2030, in the next 10 years, you're looking at about an 80 billion, $80 billion profit from legalized marijuana at 10 years. 80 billion. That's why everyone's trying to jump in now. And they already like sealing the door on who can get in and who can't. So that's how much it's going to be generating, but how much of that is the brother man going to see? Nope, he's still going to be peddling. And here's the major problem with a lot of these marijuana distributors. Grade. In every drug there is, the higher the potency, the higher the yield, which means that the higher the drug, the higher it should be sold as. If you don't sell it at that price, or if you're selling it for the same, that means you don't know the difference from good or bad. You're just a person out there. So now, check this out. Check it out. Now, yeah. Now you got a whole different situation brewing in other locations. It went from blueberry to purple to everything else. So if you're in the weed game, you're in a limited box. But the majority of the people who sell weed, they smoke it and they limit themselves on profit. Most people who sell coke don't normally do a lot of coke. They do some, but not a lot, because they know that's a whole different type of drug and levels. I never really seen people kill for weed. People kill you for coke. Now, I've seen people break in people's houses for weed, would leave the TVs, the jewelry, everything there. They would just be in there cutting buds of seeds off trees and then run out the door. Because they know the owner's not going to call the cops because he's got all this weed around. So the cops aren't going to get called. Plus, they didn't steal anything. They stole your illegal drugs. Say your favorite is sour diesel. That's very interesting. Very interesting combination to have. Never get high on your own supply. That's something to look out for. It's another thing. Listen, there's a lot of things that's transpiring here as far as what people should do, what they shouldn't do, how they should react, how they shouldn't react. It's a lot of things out there in the game right now. But like I told you, there's different levels to all of this. Now, everybody believes that if they're selling coke, they're selling metrotons. Right? The pros and cons. The coke game is where you can make a lot of money. Cocaine is a different type of high. Weed smokers, they're going to come to your house and they'll get some weed. You'll get it in the afternoon. You probably won't hear from them again probably the next day when they want to get high again. Or they might buy enough to last them for the week. And you won't hear from them. That's just how they are. A coke guy, you probably give him like 2 bits of a hit. And he says, okay, I'm good. You ain't going to see me no more. You'll see him back in 10 minutes. Less than that. Then no matter how much you give him, he's gonna come right back again. And he's gonna come right back again. He's gonna call you at 4 or 5 in the morning, wake you up with your wife and kids, and go, "Hey, how you doing? I just called to see how you were doing." It's 5 in the morning. Oh, I thought you were up. My fault. Oh, well, since I got you up, that's how the Coke world works. What you don't want to do is cut that guy off. That guy show up at your house 6 in the morning. Come on, man. You got to do me this favor, man. You can kick my butt. You can do whatever you want. You can sleep with my wife. You can do whatever. Just, I need help. I need you. I need this to get through the day. I just need, because I'm just falling asleep. I need this just to keep me up. That is a dangerous drug because it attaches itself to your addictions. You might be addicted personality person, and now you're on that. It makes you go above and beyond what you normally would do. And what's more dangerous if you are friends with somebody who are both in that category. So in the movies, they show you a guy buying this brick. He's going to make another run, pick up 10 bricks on a first deal and all of this. Now, power, that's a whole different, like I say, they're dealing with metritons. They're supplying an entire a whole city full of product. Okay, so they have metritons of stuff. Metritons. So that is a different thing than what you would probably be doing. Most of the people who start off in the D game, when they get involved, they decided, I got to come in, use a couple of ounces. That's normally what they would do. They work in with an ounce, or let me get an ounce and I'm going to try to pinch off the ounce. I'm going to save up and get a 2 and a split. That's a 2.5. 2.5 is called a 2 and a split. Don't even ask me how I know. Then there's a 4 and a split. Same thing, 4.5. Okay. Now people always think they know the levels, the scales, and how they make their money. This many things are gonna happen. And when people come and buy, and let's say you're the guy who's on the other side of the fence who has the keys, okay? How are you gonna make your money? How are you gonna have it distributed? It can't be just you. When you have keys and this type of weight coming in, you gotta have a team. It's just like business. This is just like a business. When you go to the store to buy food or meat, you don't buy it from the farmer. You buy it from the distributor who's distributing the meat for the farmer, which may be Walmart, Jewels, Osco, Myers, wherever you go to get your food, Whole Foods. So it's the same thing. Now, the farmer is going to sell to the distributor in bulk. That means a large amount they have to buy from the farmer. And what the distributor is going to do is not sell it to you in bulk. What they're going to do is sell you and distribute you portions that they're going to make their money off of. From what they bought off bulk, they're going to make double, if not triple, by reducing it down and selling it at certain prices. That's the dope game. Congratulations. That's the dope game. They're selling you a product that they got in bulk. They're distributing it to you for a very rationable price. Now, here's the thing. The distributor sometimes can be the one to sell it in bulk. But that's only for certain people at a markup price. See, you ever go to Sam's Club? Why do people go in Sam's Club? And you know why Sam Clubs exist and it's only for members only? That they got to pay a membership to be in Sam's Club? You want to know why? Because Sam's Club sells in what? Bulk. It's a store about bulk. So if you're somebody that don't want to get pinched by the distributor also can say, okay, we got a place where you can just buy it in bulk. We'll sell it to you in bulk. So whatever you want to do with it, we give you a reduced price if you buy it in bulk. But most people are not going to buy it in bulk. They can't afford it. So I'm hoping this is clicking with you somewhere. This is how the dope game works. Most people can't buy in bulk, so they got to buy what they can. So they got to deal with the distributor and deal with his prices. So they try to buy as much as they can off of him. Now, here's the thing. What are the pros and cons of this? Selling in bulk means the less you have to do. You're getting your money in one big lump sum, and it is the less you would ever have to do. No, I'm giving people a realistic view on what it really is. And I'm not even a person that sells it. And I'm able to do this because it's a business practice. Just to show you reality from fiction and how it all equivalates to math. That's why most people who are high drug level people are very good in math. They're not stupid. They probably can't read at a third grade level, but they are very good at math. I've seen that. I've seen it done. They are very good at math. They be no. Mm-mm. That's 2%. You carry the 3. You do the 2. You do the 1. That's 1.2 plus 3. I'll be. Hold on. Let me get the calculator for you, because you could be off. You got it down to the decimal point. That's right. So, anyway, if I was related to that man, would I ever tell you that? No. Anyway, here's a need to know thing. There's a situation, right? Problem solving. See, this is the solution that people have. Dissension within the ranks. How do you pay your people? How do they get paid? How do you know what their worth is? How much should I give them? Pay as they play. That's how it should go. They pay what they weigh. And you might say, well, what in the world does that mean? Pay what they weigh. I don't get it. That sounds dumb. Pay what they weigh is simply what it is. They gotta pay what they weigh. Whatever they sell, they get a percentage of they earn. That's it. You pay me my cut, and that's it. So whatever you choose to do to make extra is on you. That is the pros and cons of it, because that's the pro of it. The only con is you don't want to spread yourself out too far. You probably want to have 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4 people 4 people on your team. And those 4 people on they're called legs. And the reason why I know this is just business. In a business company structure, you would want 4 people that relate back to you from 4 different areas. They deal with all the ancillary people, the stress, the headaches, and everything else that you don't have to deal with. They don't even need to know who you are. That's the guys they talk to. So if any betrayal happens, it's going to happen within those 4. That's it. So you got to really trust your 4. You got to really know the 4 that you chose to be close to you, because the only way you should ever be betrayed is by this 4. That's it. The problem is people expand too fast and they leave themselves thin. They don't allow themselves to get big enough, then expand. Pros and cons, just like business. See, this is all a business structure, and it relates directly to the drug game. And most of it is common sense. And this is why they get busted and go to jail. Because all of your vices will pull you to the ground. Eventually, you'll get caught. They have nothing but time. Okay, every time you're doing a job or hustling, you're playing Russian roulette. And the one time you might crap out, because they only got to catch you once. They only got to catch you once, and that can mess up your day, your week, your month. You see what I'm saying? And how it relates to business? Not my life at all. But business is my life. So I understand the world of business. So I understand the practices of having a successful team. Now, if I have a successful team under my umbrella, then I already know the structure of having these legs, and having the legs be successful is by teaching them and making is duplication. Give them the knowledge on what to do and what not to do, and make sure the 4 understand so that they can implement that to the rest of their crew. Even though you're going to have some that stray away and mess up, hopefully the structure lasts long enough to you to all amass wealth. But it don't normally work that way in a structured system, because the system gets broken because there's no order and discipline in the person that's doing it. The more the money's coming in, he's more accessible to doing more things. He starts dating a woman he shouldn't date. He starts sleeping with her friend. He starts doing the drugs more now than he never did before. Now he's flipping on guys for no reason in his crew. He's embarrassing people in front of people he shouldn't. And now this guy feels scarred. He's looking for an opportunity of weakness where he could take over. And now you got a war within your own group. Seen it happen. It's not a nice thing to see. It's not good at all. So that's the cons of the business, is that this can last forever. This can be a business that's going to last forever. Let me tell you, the biggest dope dealers in America, okay, that were black, their run all ended in less than 10 years. Let me tell you that again. The biggest drug dealing gang units around getting all this money, their run was less than 10 years. Dead jail, dead jail, dead jail, dead jail. Or the ones who didn't, The ones who didn't, they're back in the hood broke. You must forgot the word black. I know exactly what I said. I said black. Now, Frank Lucas, like I said, that's a movie. What Frank Lucas did was become very lucrative fast by cutting out all the middlemen and messing up the market. And by doing that, he was able to cut out the distributor and get it directly from the farm. So imagine if you can go and get bulk directly from the farm and cut out the distributor. And then you decided to be a distributor and you're dealing directly with the farm. You're in competition with the distributor. And now, if they want anything, they got to come. The distributor got to come to you instead of going to the farm. The farm then basically cut them off. But his business was doomed to fail because when the war is over, he has no way of getting that back to the United States. His whole thing was based on the system of the war being in place. When the war ended, he had no way of bringing that back over here. Now you're doomed. He's got to rethink of his ways to do this stuff, and it never really got to that point because all it took for him was somebody to know his system, shut it down, and now it's done. Too many people in between wanted to see him fall, and it got destroyed from within. So he just blew, but he was never big time. He was an enforcer. But that's beside the point. Like I said, that's a movie. That's dramatized. The real life guy, his principles kept him small even when he was making hundreds of millions of dollars. His empire was kept at a small pace. So the pros of the D game is that if you're moving the way, you could make some money. You could make some money very quickly. And making money very quickly puts you in a different box to do other things and opportunities for the people around you. But it's causing misery to people in the same sense. So the pros is you're free. You don't have a boss to report to. You can work when you want to work. You can do all of these things. But the con is dead or in jail. You're going to be seeing your family from behind bars, or you're going to be deceased, and then they're going to have nothing. So it's short run money. That's in less than 10 years, you're going to either be stopped by being killed or you're going to jail. That's the numbers, 10 years. In 10 years, you're either in penitentiary or you're dead because of your vices. Now, how would you recognize a setup? Let's say you wanted to go to the distributor and the distributor decided to cash you out because he got jammed up and they want to sell you out. How does that work? How does something like that work against you? How can you recognize a setup? Well, everyone's in that story. I mean, everyone that's in that business has to look over their shoulder for the rest of their life. They know that. And it's not really the rest of your life. Once people know you're out of the game, depending on what you did, Kent, once people know you out of the game, they don't really care for you no more. If they got your position and your spot, and that's it. So Some of these guys are, they have no code and honor. They're a little weak at heart. And you know what they want to do? They can't wait to tell. They can't wait to do that. Oh, they want to do it. They can't wait to do it. They want to set you up. Now, here it is. How could you recognize a setup? Well, you would have to know your business. Whatever business you is, if somebody is offering you something that just doesn't make sense, or it's it's like a ripple in the water that shouldn't be. You feel it. You kind of know something is off. People have patterns in what they do. If a guy comes in and buys, we're just using speculation, a key, right? Let's just start with that. Not to saying that everyone's going to have a key. But a guy comes to you and buys a key. Then, he comes back the next time. He wants to buy 2 keys. Then he comes back and wants to buy 4 keys. Then he says, you know what? That 4 wasn't great. Now I want 8 keys. Before you even get to the 8 keys, you're dead or in jail. Let me tell you that right now. You're dead or in jail. You know why? That's fiction. Nobody buys like that. You know who buys like that? Cops. Cops buy like that. Street guys, they ain't gonna buy it like that. Because in business, you wouldn't sell like that. There's no way you're gonna buy 1 key one time. The second time you come back around, you're going to 2. Then because you got to 2, now you want 4. Either you're planning on robbing me and killing me, or I'm being set up to go to jail. These are the things you need to know, because that is a ripple in the system. It don't work like that, and you will see that, because that's not going to happen with any of your other clients. So and how it relates to professional business, because this is like, I am not in the drug game, but I understand if something like that happens, it's a setup. Somebody comes in there and says, I want to come in and buy your products. So they listen to you pitch your ideas, and they bring you in for a meeting, and they're getting your ideas, and they're buying some of your products, but they're buying it small. Then they say, you know what, I'm going to buy more. I'm going to come back in. We do another meeting. They're just BSing, right? Getting as much knowledge as they can out of you so that they can take from you what you have and make their own in a business sense. Or, get this, trying to see what all you got so that they can sabotage you till you can lose your business and go to jail. That happens in professional business, and it happens in the drug game. So that's how you can recognize a setup. Because they really want to see what you have and how much access you have. Because if you're able to sell them 1 key, 2 keys, 4 keys, 8 keys, and you're not saying, I don't have it, and you still having it and bringing it, they're going to be like, he got a lot. If he can give us 8, he got to have 50. If we come back and ask for 20, now we got to rob him. Because he's got way more. We could just rob him, take that, then we won't need him no more. We good. So this is the game. It is very dangerous. And it's all cons. It's really no pros. The pros is a short term. Nobody gets by 5, 10 years. That's a Russian roulette. You game you're playing. So the game is of the dope game is this is why I'm trying to get you to understand the pros and cons of the game. It relates directly to legitimate business. So you're better off getting in the legitimate business. The same structure you use to run an operation there, you can run your own operation legally. Therefore, you cut out the jail time, the murder time. you know, you can provide for your family and not be locked up. Well, like I said, Breaking Bad is a movie. I mean, it's a television program. Let's let's say this for instance, and use it in real life terms. TV show Power, for instance. In Power, Ghost would have been killed coming out of his nightclub in season 1. Tommy would have been killed right after. He'd had to flee New York or get killed himself. It'd have been a war to see who was going to be the new guy in charge of distribution. They would have found somebody else to replace Ghost by then, and that would have been it. They would have probably spoke somebody who could speak Spanish. No one's going to be in charge of that position without being, bilingual. You don't get that close without being bilingual because you won't make it. Breaking Bad. Walter White would have been discovered and probably arrested in season 1. They would have tracked him down. There's no way he would have been able to hide that kind of money for that long, and definitely without being watched. And no, he'd have been called 6 times over. There would have been some. There would have been some explosions too. When you're trying to cook in that little Winnebago, the fumes from the Winnebago and everything else would ignite eventually and blow that little thing sky high. That's too dangerous to cook in that little minivan, that little Winnebago. It's not. It's not ideal. You don't have the oxygen base in there. So of course they're wearing suits and everything else, but they would pass out from the fumes, mixed in with the fumes from outside from the Winnebago. It's not enough air coming in there. It would have caused an explosion. Worst of all, they would have been sick. Sopranos. Uh, Sopranos, most of it is factual to a degree, and a lot of it's fiction. A lot of those murders wouldn't have happened in the street, broad daylight. Guys would have been gone 20 years, 30 years. Um, the Jersey being allowed to, Tony would have been killed probably about season 4. They'd have just had enough for Tony. He'd have been whacked. Uh, that's just that. And they would have replaced Tony with someone else instead of going to war with him and back and forth. They'd have just, it's too big of a headache. They'd have looked at a guy they could have put in charge that they already run from New York and put him down there to run it. Johnny Sack would have probably took over the New Jersey branch. Yeah. So I hope this was informative to you. I gotta go now. This has been interesting. Don't forget to support the page. You could have hit the super chat up, but you listen to this later, hit the Cash App up. Carcino's the name on the Cash App. I thank you.